Hello, my name is Greg Dixon, the Culture Whisperer, and I'm here with Roy Dickan from Niche Domination, and we're going to talk about total traffic and conversion today. So, Roy, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Roy Dickan, and I've been helping people get found online for well over 10 years now. And I've learned a lot of things that I want to pass on to other people. I've created a course if you really want to know how to do this kind of thing. Once you learn it, you use those same principles for as long as you want to keep growing your business. And today I'm going to go through some of the things that are not only in the course, but they're things that I recommend everybody does that is not being found to the level that they want to be online. In some cases, companies are actually lost online, and you don't want that to be. So, Greg, okay, you've got me there. All right. So, what I'm going to talk basically about is how to get more online leads for your local business. And once you get it for your local business, it begins to broaden out. And eventually, if you want to be found online all throughout the country, you can do that, and even beyond that into other countries. But it all starts locally. So, Greg, do you have to move these forward, or is this something that I can do? No, it's something you've got to do. Okay. So this method that I've put together, I learned from Google. That was the beginning of it. And I turned it into, basically an application that we can all utilize. What happened was I was doing websites for companies that were trying to get found online back 12 years ago when Google was finally allowing commercial traffic and phone books were becoming a thing of the past, and ads in newspapers were being phased out. So it was an opportunity to really use what Google was making possible. And when I first started doing websites, that all worked for a while, but then Google came out with something which now is called, well, it may be called something different even then, but it was called something different in the past. It'll be called something different in the future, but it's called Google My Business, I think temporarily, um, and it's been that way for a few years now, or a number of years. And when you link this to your website and put the right content on each one, this adds significantly to how much you can be found on the internet, um, more than just with a website alone. A website alone just doesn't cut it anymore, at least for local businesses. Now, if you're a big enough brand, you can get by with a website alone. But I want to go through this quickly and then tell you that this is something that changes every time Google decides it wants to upgrade things. It does it for the way your website works and gets found. And it's also doing it for the way your Google My Business works. But Google ranks you not with human beings deciding who should be on page one, but with internet bots. They've got a rating system that uses artificial intelligence. And these bots run around the internet and they see everything that's going on and they learn from it, and they create a database for each business. And every time they learn something, they store it in the database. So over the years, you've got a lot of stuff in that database. And these things, especially what you're doing currently, but even things you've done in the past, make a difference on how you rank. And part of the thing that you want to accomplish is you want to have the words that people are going to use in search phrases, because this allows your site to be found when people either speak the search phrase or they key it in. And if you have a search phrase that brings up a map, such as this one here, that actually oftentimes you have to have something that a person could be doing. And then oftentimes there has to be a city associated with it. So in this case, if you're looking for a house painter and you're in Cary, North Carolina, you might put in house painter Cary. And this is what would come up. 3 of the companies, the lower 3, are all on here for free. The one up above is actually paying to be here. And every time someone clicks on their ad, they have to pay. So the object is, in my opinion, to be on here where you don't have to pay every time someone clicks on you. Because what happens is, this is actually on a page and it has all kinds of organic listings in addition to this map. Yet the map is what gets most of the clicks. In fact, it gets over 60% of the clicks in most cases. So if you're one of the 3 companies that's on this map, you are cutting up over 60% of the clicks, and all the rest of the organic listings, even if they're big brands, will be cutting up the other 40%. So it's powerful to be on a map. Greg, you want to move it to the next? So how you want to be found can be decided by you and instituted with your Google My Business listing and with your website for that matter. But most of the business you're going to get as far as leads, as far as warm leads are concerned, are going to come from mobile devices. And therefore, if you have a clickable phone number, and if you want to be contacted by phone, then that's a valuable thing to have. Other than that, you can send them to your website, or you can have them fill out a form, for example. But forms are not so good on a Google My Business listing because people just don't want to type a lot of things in with their fingers. The other thing that's really important is to have reviews, because these reviews make a big difference on if you appear in the map or not, and what maps you appear in. Greg, you can move forward. So the Google 3-pack ends up being mostly local businesses. On a rare occasion, it'll be somebody that's not really in the immediate area, but that would be a very rare occasion. It's usually a local business that's found in that 3-pack. And buyer keywords are what actually bring up these maps. So house painter Cary, for example, somebody's looking to spend some money. They're looking for someone that can actually do some painting for them. That's a buyer keyword. And so Google has created this map system with Google My Business listings, and the 3 that get in there are called getting in the Google 3-pack. This is created for people who are searching with buyer keywords, and generally people that are local. Although if you use my system, you can use it even across the country and even in other countries. But the reason that they came up with this is really good for local companies, because we had to beat out the big brands continually. That's what Google loves to have in the organic listings. Yet they set aside maps so that local companies searching by people from using buyer keywords to actually find them, we're going to show up, and probably we're going to get the majority of the searches. I have no idea if they really expected to have such a significant amount come from people that are in the map, but that's how it's turned out, and it's been that way for years. When you click on one of the companies that's in the map, this is what is shown. So the name of the company is there. In this case, painting contractor Carey. You want to get a keyword in here, exterior painting service. They get a couple of keywords, interior and exterior painting services. So they loaded this up. So people can find them if they're looking for interior painting, exterior painting, or if they're looking for contractors. So they've got 3 different keywords all in their title. That's very effective. Now you get to put pictures in here, and you can even put videos in here. And beyond the title, what attracts people's attention a lot is looking at all the images. And in many cases, they will actually look at every single one of the images, and they'll get fired up by what they see. Now, if you want to list your address, this is where it can be seen. If you want to give them a map to your location, this is where you can do it. But if you want to have your phone number clickable, this is where you can do it. Otherwise, you just have it as it's listed here. The phone number is there, but it's not clickable in this case. You can have your hours of operation if you want. This company likes you to go to their website, so they kind of they have a website button that can be clicked on. So one click, mobile devices like one-click things. So you go to their website and then you see more about them. And this is where you can actually set up a meeting for a consultation and get some pricing and things like that. That's the way a Google My Business listing works. And for most people that will be here today, you probably should have one. So the secret, and this was what I found out over probably the last 11 years since I started using what Google is now calling, or at least temporarily now calling, a Google My Business listing, is you want to have keywords that bring up a map both on your website and on your Google My Business listing. And most people will search for you either putting in a geographical location, or if they're in an area like they're in Cary, North Carolina, for example, they don't even have to put it in. Whatever the keyword is or whatever the company is, if they have a location near Cary and that person is searching from Cary, that's the kind of company that'll be brought up on the map. So optimizing your Google My Business listing and your website is the secret. Nobody probably can tell you that other than me, that because for 11 years, it's been working and it's continuing to work. So I would say that it's probably going to continue to work for many years into the future. That's the secret. So from my standpoint here, I want you to get leads. And if you want to talk more about that, go to meetwithroy.net, pick out a time, and let's talk about how this may work for you. Once you get those leads, Greg can help you convert them, in many cases, automatically. So Greg, you want to take it from here? I can't hear you. You're muted, Greg.
I muted myself.
There we go. Okay.
So the party in the background isn't so loud. Anyway, yeah, no, those are really great tips. I put some of the things you said in the chat there, so people can review as they're going through. And I like that, the magic of Google My Business plus your website, magic and all that search engine optimization, all of that stuff to get it in. So what I've been doing is I'm using a program. Let's see if we can get this.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm using a platform called Kartra, which is an all-in-one platform here. And I'm just going to change the tab. So it provides a lot of things, like a checkout. So the Kartra sounds a bit like some kind of Hindu goddess, but I think it's a play on the word cart, like shopping cart. So the main function is to help people buy stuff from you, and then how you do that. There's a huge amount of things like Kartra pages, like which is website builders, um, mailing lists, uh, broadcasting, sort of Kartra funnels and campaigns, almost any simple landing page to a wildly complex series of pages and emails, all sorts of stuff. Um, an email system that's and also you can send text messages as well as email messages with an add-on. And one of my areas is to create. Most of my clients have some form of online membership program or a online course. So that is one of my areas. And Karch is great for this. They added this new thing called surveys and quizzes. I have one client who's doing a certification program, and they're using the quizzes to actually it can mark and give a rating and a score. And Kartra videos, help desks, basically everything you could ever think of for your business. Well, not quite everything, but quite a lot. There's a calendar program you can book. If you book at our total um, total traffic and conversion.com, if you book an appointment with me, it's going to go into a Kartra calendar. And and there's an affiliate program, all sorts of things. It's in a Kartra agency. It allows me to work with somebody else's Kartra account. Marketplace, you can sell your stuff on Kartra, and integrations. So there's just an awful lot of stuff there. So it's like I say it's a large container full of Lego blocks, and it can be very overwhelming. And that's actually how I met Roy. So he was getting his using his Kartra, and uh, it just was not as easy as he thought. So one of the things is Kartra, or Roy and I both, turns out that we have a background in music. I've been involved with music for a long time. I played in various bands, at mostly at the uh, sort of low end commercial or high end amateur. But I have one of my friends and clients is Rocket Norton. He played. He was a drummer in a band called Prism. A number of bands, but Prism was the one that in the U.S. you um, might still know. There's stuff in classic rock, like Spaceship Superstar, that you might have known. Anyway, he's done a lot of things. He's older like us. He's done a lot of things, and so here's some the site here. At one time, I had created about 4 or 5 separate little websites, and now we've consolidated pretty much everything into one page here. And there's Kartra videos, so we have a collection of clips from the various concerts, and uh, and he wrote a book called Rocket Norton Lost in Space, and I helped publish this book. I put it on a DVD and had a little outdoor festival where a variation of this band was playing, and we started selling it. And but anyway, since then we've had I think 6 publishings, and we put it uh, sold almost probably sold about 1,000, and we get orders probably sometimes once a week. It's hard to sell. I don't know. I think people just start looking up Rocket Norton and they end up on this page. Oh, that's that SEO and search thing, and then they order the book. We've sold the very last book twice now, and Rocket said the last time we had an order, he says, "That's my last copy. I don't want to give it away." So we're between a few of us, we have a few other copies, and then he's been writing books since and trying to find publishers. And here these are some of these things that he's done in the past. That's a photo I took. I just got lucky. They just phoned me up and said, "Come and take this photo." And I had a really cheap camera, and I just got lucky with the lighting. That's a real actress in that, and I just got lucky with the lighting. But and then we also sell this thing, How to Coach Baseball to Kids. Um, book that we've done. Uh, we sold it sold really a couple of thousand, maybe 3 or 4 thousand VHS tapes, and then we've sold some DVDs and some online versions of the program. I was a little bit too quick to give up on the DVD because I don't know, for some reason people like holding stuff, but almost nowadays nobody's got a DVD player. Um, the other thing I just want to say is one of my current clients here is the Node Investor University. They're based in San Diego, and they called me one time and wanted help with their Kartra account, and I had no idea what um, mortgage notes were. So they explained what it was, and then I've been helping them. And they're a really good client because they have a pretty good mailing. Um, they built up a mailing list of 3,000 people. They have a number of students already, and they sell something, probably a couple things every day. And if they want to offer something like I don't even know if we're in the middle of trying to consolidate into a actual university page. But if they want to sell something, I can create a landing page for them. They can let's see, I'm going to say here. I can create a landing page for them. They can put a price on it, and what they've been doing is selling a masterclass. So they'll do like a live presentation, which might be 2 or 3 hours, and then they'll go in and will sell it, put it out to their list, and enough people hold their credit card to the screen, attend the live webinar, and then we take it and then we put it into a membership area, and they continue to sell it. So it's one of the most of us only dream of being able to just put up something in a day and then put it out to the list and sell stuff the next day. It takes a lot more marketing and maneuvering. So, but and now they have about 10 of these sort of very specialized master classes that they're putting into a larger university where they're going to have a certification program for it. So that's kind of some of the things. So I guess the basic, the simplified version of what Kartra does is it helps people sell their services and products, and so that's why Roy's a really an expert at getting people into those landing pages where they can hold their credit card to the screen and sign up for something. And sometimes it's not just a sale; it's getting people to sign up for a mailing list, or maybe download a PDF, or maybe sign up to attend a webinar, something like this. So we get people to sign up and come attend the webinar. And so it's like a ultimate Swiss Army knife. You can do almost anything. I sometimes surprise what my clients are doing, and they want me to do, and it says, "Well, okay, never thought of that, but let's give it a shot." So,
Yeah. So what Greg can do, which is really interesting, is if something works in the real world, in many cases it can be automated so it works the same way online. And one of the things that he's very good at is helping you build a mailing list. So you've got a list of email addresses, and then you market to it. So he's
yeah,
talking about the one company had 3,000 people on the mailing list. Well, there was a time when they had nobody on the mailing list,
yeah,
but then they accumulated over time 3,000 or so. And once you have a lot of people, and you don't need 3,000, you can do well with a couple hundred. If they've bought something from you, then they're likely to consider buying something else from you. So you can automate getting what you think they might be interested in front of them. And Greg is excellent at this. As he pointed out earlier, I wanted to use Kartra to be able to be the platform for my course. And it was much more difficult than I had anticipated. Not difficult for Greg, however. So I can present my course and make it available on Kartra. I can also talk about the course and make that available so people can learn about it before they even consider buying it. Greg knows how to do all this kind of stuff. I mean, the man is amazing. And I was very lucky to have found him. And because I have, uh, you out there can be just as lucky if what he can do works with what you're trying to sell, because there are many ways to sell. But I have found that automating what works in the real world makes it a whole lot easier. You have to do a whole lot less of the real world stuff,
Yeah.
but you end up with you scale up how many sales you can actually make. So please take advantage of the fact that we're both here, and we're here every Wednesday night. Hopefully, every Wednesday night, at least one of us will be, and if not
Yeah.
both of us, and I would say the majority of the time, it'll be both. And I also would like to suggest that this is a good time. If you have any questions about this kind of stuff, this is where to get those questions answered.
Yeah.
Now, I had one come up the other day, and she couldn't make it tonight. She's got a church choir practice or something like that, and she couldn't make it. So she asked me to kind of make this um, knowledge available to you. When I say that Google keeps changing things, she pointed out another thing that they're changing, and that's they're changing Google My Business a little bit. And so if when you go to work on it, it's been acting differently than all of a sudden it looks, don't be discouraged. They've just packaged it in a different way. And what they've tried to do is improve it. Because what's happening is this is the thing that's worked well for Google, besides its search engine, which has worked very well for them. But now they want a social media presence, and that social media presence is the Google My Business listing. You can do all kinds of things with this, and they want to keep making it better and better. So if you have one and it's been working in a manner that is easy for you to do, and all of a sudden you're going, what? I don't recognize this at all. How can I do this or that? If you have questions about that, come on here and let us explain it to you, because we stay on top of everything that Kartra is doing and everything that Google is doing, so we can answer most of your questions. Don't be shy. Check in with us on Wednesday night, and if you can only stay a little bit and get your question answered, hopefully you'll take advantage of that situation.
So I have one question. Um, so I understand people can post photos and articles on their Google My Business. So is that a good strategy?
It's an excellent strategy. Now, the articles, and they limit how many characters you can actually use to post that article. But this is a place where you can put your keywords. You put it into a story. That would be the most effective way.
Yeah.
Put it into a story, or talk about your product, or talk about your service. And you're using keywords when you're doing this. So people are coming to your Google My Business listing to find more about what they're searching. And that's why an article, and there are a number of places you can put this in. There are all kinds. Once you go into the back end, which you go, oh, I never dialed into that kind of thing before, I don't know what to do. It's really simple, and we can explain that to you. Once you go in there, you can see how to do it. You can see where you can put information, and I would try to fill up all the places where you can add characters. Add as many as you can, and get as many keywords in there that you want to be found for. That'll be a very good thing to do. Now, as far as the images are concerned, I mentioned briefly when we looked at one of the Google My Business listings prior to that they had some images on there. It's incredible how people love to look at images on these Google My Business listings.
Yeah.
And if you can attract them with some images, and Google will be showing maybe 4 or 5 of them, and once they start and say you've got 10 or 20 of them, they're just going to keep looking at probably the majority of them. It is not uncommon for someone to look at every single image that you've got on there. And so what you do is you get them to like you through your images. It can be very effective. And you can also put on short videos, and you can talk to them or not talk to them in the videos. But it's movement which catches their eye. They end up watching it. A lot of people watch without sound. And so it's really good if you're actually speaking something to actually have the words underneath where you're speaking, say
Yeah.
right down here, the words coming across. So people don't have to turn on the sound, because many times they want to be able to look at the internet, but they may be in a situation where they'd rather other people didn't realize they were looking and listening at things. So it's really effective to have those subtitles.
Yeah.
So images, very good. Videos, very good. And as far as the content, which can be in an article, well, that's absolutely mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah, Google loves words. Well, that's the search engines. That's all they know is words,
Yeah,
really. So um, maybe that's can be this feature for our next week presentation, and we can look at that. How you go about and the best ways of creating those posts and things.
that's an excellent idea. Yeah, I'd be glad to go into that, because I think it's really important. And most people, the first time they go in, they're intimidated. So this
Yeah.
will save you from that intimidation that's really unnecessary.
Okay. So anyway, that's really good. That's the invitation for people to come back next week and check that out, do a deeper dive into that, and thank you very much for coming out, and continue to put your comments in, ask the questions, and then we'll get to them for over the next week.
Thank you for everybody that saw this live, and thank you for everybody that's going to see the recording, because you can do that as well. And please join us whenever you can. Ask us questions, and let's get into some good conversations.
Awesome.